Hi guys, I decided to do this video today on a topic we all deal with, and this topic is called resistance. And I was inspired to do this video and speak about the topic after reading a book called The War of Art, Winning the Inner Creative Battle by Pressfield. I read the book this last weekend, and the concepts the author treated really it resonated well with me. And I believe that as professionals, this is a topic we all deal with, regardless of our class, of our status, or the level of accomplishment in our career. And essentially, it's a very short book, and I'll keep this video as short as possible. So essentially, what the author says in the book is that resistance is the highest form of toxicity anyone can deal with in life. And it simply means when we self-sabotage ourselves, when we prevent ourselves from taking steps that we need to take. And the author says simply that all individuals have two lives. We have two lives. We have the lives that we are living currently, and we have our unlived life. And the distance between your lived life and the life, your unlived life, is what is called resistance. And he says that when we suffer from resistance, it arises from the fact that we don't do the actions we consciously want to do based on one reason or the other. And some of them can be rationalization, which he says a lot of us use as excuses not to carry out actions that we need to take. And he gave several examples that when you're suffering from resistance, you feel unhappy, you feel despondent, you feel bored, so you start looking for distractions. A lot of us use social media as distraction. Some of us resort to drugs, some of us resort to alcoholism, some of us resort to binging on internet or binging on Netflix or movies and all of that. And it says essentially that resistance on its own doesn't have any power. We are the ones who feed resistance because it comes from the soul, it comes from within. And the best way to confront resistance as well is from within. And he also says that where we create, the part of our soul, of our body, where we create from, is protected. It can't be affected by any of our experiences in the past, whether how we grew up or how our parents treated us or the state of the economy. This part is protected. So if we can find this part and do whatever action comes to our mind that we plan to do regarding our goals, we are going to overcome resistance. And he gave several examples in the book. He talked about Henry Fonda, who is a well-known artist who died a couple of years back, and that as at the age of 75, Henry Fonda would always vomit, would always throw up before he goes on stage to make his presentations. And even though he died at 77, he still experienced this. So what the author was trying to say is that with the status of his accomplishments, with what he had accomplished in life, he still experienced resistance, but he overcame it. So essentially, when we are scared of doing something, when we have fear, we should embrace fear. Because when you embrace fear, if I'm scared of taking a particular decision, then I know that that's a decision I should take. So what we should do as professionals is that whenever we notice fear in our system, then we should know that it's a good thing because it's telling us that this is an action that we need to take, And the author cited various examples. He started the example of Lance Armstrong, who had cancer and still won the Tour de France on three occasions. He talked about Tolstoy, who had 13 children and still wrote a magnus opus, wrote a very solid book, War and Peace, and he gave various examples. And even I, as a professional, I've dealt with resistance on numerous occasions. I started my law firm about 10 years ago. And before I took the decision to resign from my place of work at the time, I felt a bit scared. I was like, will I be able to survive? I was newly married at the time. And I was like, can I compete with all the big firms in Nigeria? Will I get clients and all of that? But I just thought about it and I said, what kind of what kind of life do I want to live? What kind of goal do I want to set for myself? I'd known from an early age that I want to be someone in control of my time. I want to be able to practice as a lawyer and give back to my community. I want to be involved in community development activities. I want to be able to travel back to my home state in Osun State. I currently live in Lagos, and from Lagos to Osun State is a distance of about 4.5 hours, about 4 hours. So I knew that I needed to have a flexible time whereby I can go for community development activities and I can also run my practice and also essentially work on practice areas that I loved. And I felt that, okay, where I was working at the time, I wasn't in control of the kind of cases I could work on, because it's whatever my superiors or my team leaders give to me that I have to work on. And I felt that, you know what, I want to take my destiny into my hands. And regardless of how scared I was, regardless of the fear I had, I decided to take up the gauntlet and resigned from my paid employment. And since I've started my practice 10 years ago, I've never looked back. So that's one occasion where I dealt with resistance, and I overcame it. I also dealt with resistance about 5 years ago, yeah, when I decided to run for office. At the time, a lot of people advised me not to run for office. They said it's going to derail my career. I should wait until I'm much more older in the profession. But I knew that at the time I wanted to give back. I wanted to try my luck and see if I could win the election. And I decided to run for office, and I put structures in place that didn't affect my practice. And eventually, after running for office, although I was not successful, I gained a lot of experience from it, and it didn't affect my practice. I mean, I'm back in practice fully. I've always been in practice, and I moved on. But the truth was that if I had allowed resistance to take over 5 years ago, when I knew that my innermost soul wanted me to run for office, I would have been feeling despondent. I would have been feeling unhappy, and I'll be searching for something missing in my life. So most of us, when we feel bored, when we resort to binging on Netflix and all this, is a signal that there's a part in our life that we've not addressed. So the author essentially is saying that resistance is something we all deal with, and it's something we should confront. You know, another close aspect of resistance is sabotaging by others. We can either self-sabotage, which is resistance in essence, or we can be sabotaged by others. And who are these others? They can be our relatives, they can be our friends, they can be our colleagues at the office. And if we know that we want to achieve a particular goal and we have those who are sabotaging us, the best thing for us to do is to cut off from this set of people, and we should continue to confront our resistance, because regardless of wherever we are in life, we are going to continue to face this resistance. So in summary, the author concluded the book by saying that resistance can be attacked, can be defeated at any point in time. Since the energy for resistance comes from within, it means that we can decide to confront it. But if you're going to confront it, then you must be very strong. You must be very strong-willed, and you must confront it, because it says that resistance is tougher than alcoholism, it's tougher than drug addiction, it's tougher than poverty. So it takes more strength to overcome. And regardless of your age, regardless of your status, you can confront it. And it's a daily battle. So the fact that you confronted resistance yesterday on a particular issue doesn't mean you're not going to face resistance on another issue tomorrow. I mean, currently now I have a couple of issues I'm trying to sort out, and I'm still battling with resistance, but I know I will always overcome resistance, because I'm not scared of failure, I'm not scared of fear, and I know that failure is just a way of learning how not to do something again. And you know, fortune favors the brave. So the summary of my video here is, let's not feel that if we are facing resistance is unique to us. Resistance is a universal concept. Regardless of your country, regardless of your status, it affects you. So don't think because it's affecting you, then you should feel bad with yourself, or feel you're not a success, or feel that you cannot achieve your goal in life. No, we all have these internal battles, but the goal to achieving is we must confront it. We must do what resistance is telling us not to do. But you don't just take uncalculated risk. Before you take an action, weigh the consequences. Ask yourself if you have the capacity, you have the resources, have contingency plans, and be prepared that if you take this assignment, or if you embark on this journey, you might not get the desired outcome, but you should be prepared to enjoy the experience regardless of the outcome, because the journey is the experience is the journey. That is what life is all about. It's not the result, it's the experience of living in the moment. So the summary of my video to my friends online is that let's not be scared of resistance. Let's confront resistance. Let's overcome our fears, and let's ensure that we are living our lives. Because whenever it's time for us to die, we are not going to regret the actions we took. What we are going to regret the most are the actions we didn't take. So let's make sure we don't have any unlived life. My goal as an individual is to be a dispute resolution lawyer, providing services to my clients, solving their problems, and to also be an active person in my community by contributing to development of my community, of my home state, and of my country, by also being a present dad and also being a present spouse. So anything that will take me away from achieving my objectives, I'm prepared to crush it and to confront it. So I urge all of us to also take on this spirit, and if you have the chance, look for the book. It's a very short book, and it's a very simple book, And I wish us all the best in our journey to conquering resistance. Thank you very much.